everybody. Hello. I am Ashley, and I'm going to tell you guys an awesome story today. All right, so I have been on a journey, a soul searching journey, if you will, and the past 3 years of my life has changed my whole life so much that I want to tell you guys all about it. So, before I even start talking, you're probably going to want to put the speed on this video at like 1.5 or even 2 and watch a little bit faster because I tend to tell a long story and I don't want you to be bored with the slow monotone story. All right, so get that speed going up a little bit, and then also, just so you know, what you're about to listen to is my own story. I did do a video that was my paparazzi story, but it was very low key. It was toned down quite a bit, and I want to tell you guys a lot more. Okay, so this is about paparazzi, my journey from being a homeless mom of 5 children, one of which is special needs. Not that that makes it any different, but just that one of them needs me a little bit more. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit about her, just my personal life. But we were homeless and we lived in my van. And essentially, we got into the realm of the paparazzi world, not knowing that it was a multi level marketing company, not understanding what an MLM was, what the good and bad of an MLM was, what the heck I was doing. To be quite honest, I didn't know what it was. All I knew was I knew somebody, which I'm going to get into that. I knew somebody that had succeeded in it. And I thought, why the hell not? If she could do it, I could do it, and I dove right in, and I ended up doing really good, really well, really well. And I ranked up into the top 1%. And then some stuff started to happen. And I'm going to tell you guys the downfall of paparazzi from my own experience. But just to put a disclaimer out there, none of this is, if this is all based on my story, my facts, what happened to me. So if I add in any video or any pictures in this editing process, it is just to clarify my story. And I'm going to tell you guys a lot of the tea that was spilled during the downfall, the mass exodus of paparazzi of 2021. I'm going to tell you guys a lot about that tea and where I fit into it. And then my kind of little experience of being in an anti-paparazzi kind of group that then caused drama. And I'm gonna tell you the tea about the group that invited me in and then kicked me out, and just like crazy cult like tactics inside and outside, where you're just kind of like left not knowing where the hell you belong. And that's exactly what happened. And then I was vulnerable and left to my own like thoughts and watching videos of trying to figure out where I belonged, because I was so good at building a team and leading, and I was so good at selling online, and I also had to keep providing now and for my children, as a single mom. And it just led me down a rabbit hole, if you will, of anti MLM. And then anti MLM, I really felt was in my soul. I'm going to go over the research that I did that led me to be anti MLM. And I really believed that I was anti MLM. And then I'm going to tell you what changed my mind, what the hate and the drama and the absolute ridiculousness that is inside the anti MLM community. And it needs to be exposed. It needs to be exposed. And I'm not a hater, but there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate online. And when your motive is to educate people and you use hate on others to do it, you're not exactly educating people. There are better ways, and there are things that are being done just to make you money when you're trying to educate. You're really not. So I'm going to call that all out, and we're going to go in depth in all these different areas. And it's going to probably be a long video, and that's okay, because I want to get it all out. And I will probably do some follow-up videos and focus on one aspect or another. I'm sure I will. But right now, I'm going to give you guys the general overview of that whole process and what led me right back into an MLM. But not just an MLM. I was not looking for an MLM. I did not go looking to join an MLM because anti-MLM did not make me feel good. It wasn't like that. I'm going to tell you all the tea. Let's get into it right now with the booyah, which I also want to tell you guys all about that. I'm going to make another video that kind of like explains the purpose and motive of this channel and the the description, the explanation of what is the booyah, what is it, why do we use it, why do we say it, what does it mean, that will be coming later. All right, so now picture it like Sophia on Golden Girls. You want to picture it. It's like 2019, pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, all of that stuff. Okay, and I am early 30s, and I have 5 children. I have a, let's see, three. I have to do math. So 3 years ago, so I had an 11-year-old son. I had a 9-year-old daughter who has special needs, and when I say that, it's not just like an autism type thing. She has autism tendencies. Yes, she's on the spectrum. Yes, but her main thing is that she cannot speak or hear. So communication is pretty much a void with her. She can hear, but very slightly. She can speak, but only vaguely, almost like she's talking, almost like you like we when you communicate with a deaf person. Only we could never sign language with her because she has also some issues from the autism and a couple other deformities. That I hate that word. I hate that word. Let's scratch that. But like it just like her thumbs don't bend, so like it's just harder for her to do things that would be a little bit easier for like the average deaf child. So we just never had to do that because we communicated fine with her limited abilities. Okay, but she is the most amazing, beautiful, fun loving, funny, hardworking, just beautiful inside and out child. That is my daughter, who at the time of this story was a 9-year-old child, also having surgeries repeatedly to take like tumors that grow in the ear canal. And at the time, they were just growing in the ear canal. Now they kind of grow outside of the ear canal, and she's had to have her skull cut. And she has to have this surgery now repeatedly done every 3 months to remove tumors on each side. So it's like a long, ongoing process. But at the time, she was 9 years old, just had these surgeries to take things out of her ears every so often, while she still was trying to improve her speech and her hearing as she grew. Then I had a 7-year-old son, a 5-year-old daughter who was about to start kindergarten, and a brand new baby boy. So I had these 5 children in infants. And we were all living at the time, like, say, at the end of May 2019. I had just had my baby while I was pregnant with him, and actually, I gave birth to him while living at my mom's home. She had a 1-bedroom apartment. So my mom lived there alone, 1-bedroom apartment, almost like an efficiency type apartment. And now here I come, me and 5 young children. Well, I mean, I was pregnant with my 5th baby after a very tumultuous few years of our lives that led us to be homeless. I don't want to get into all those details. Just know that we absolutely had nowhere to live. We had a van that we stayed in, and my mom's home that she opened up to us. The home that we had the sheriff coming, had no running water, had no electricity, things like that. We could park there. So I just want to get that clear out because people say, "Well, you did." Where'd you park? We had a place to park, but that was not a home. It was basically condemned. There was no running water, no electricity, and the sheriff was going to take it because when I purchased the home, my life was in a better, more stable position. I purchased a nice home in 2008, the same year I had my first child, and life was going good. And then things happen, as does life. So now, fast forward, it's 2019. We are staying in my mom's 1-bedroom apartment. I gave birth to my 5th baby, and we are staying there. Well, about a month, my son's about 6 weeks old. It's the summer of 2019. My mom's landlord stops by and realizes that we haven't left in a while, and he wants to know why we're staying there. He comes in and basically tells my mom, like, you got to get her out of here or you got to leave because this is too many people. Like, I'm not going to be able to rent. Like, I'm going to lose my ability to rent to you because this goes against the ordinances of the city to have this many occupants in this dwelling. And my mom's like in tears. She's like, I can't make my child leave, and what am I supposed to do? Like, I have nowhere to go. And she's like crying to me, and of course I'm not going to let her lose her place. So I pack up my children, and we go in my van, we drive to that dwelling that we had, and that's where we stay. So we stay in the van. Luckily, my van has a little DVD player in the front, and heat and air. At the time it was air conditioning, and we were able to stay there. We would drive up to the laundromat to do our laundry. We would drive to mom's once a week to get a shower on Sundays. That was what we had to do. That was our life. We were homeless with 5 children. And then because my mom wasn't working as many hours at that time. She was able to take, like, she would keep my oldest child for a few days, and then she would keep, so that way it wasn't all of us in one car. She would try to alleviate some of the stress on the children having to live in a van. Ultimately, this then led me to trying to find a home for us. I'm looking everywhere. I have no job. So at this time, I'm taking care of my children, but I also was a stay at home mom before. So I have no education. Well, actually, I had gone to college, but I mean, like, I didn't have like a finished education at the time. I didn't have work experience. I didn't have time to go get a job. So, like, I didn't know how I was going to get a job. And now here I am. If I go get a job, I then have to apply for the state to help me with childcare. That's a process. You have to go on a waiting list to get that state childcare. I can't get childcare. All right. So, like, I'm like just in this like crazy whirlwind, and I'm just like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? I gotta get a place. So I talked to my mom, and my mom's like, well, I can babysit. I'll babysit. If you can get yourself in a place, just try not to go too far. I remember her being so worried I was going to get too far away where she would have to drive in the dark. She was like, try to do daylight and don't be too far for me to drive. Because at the time we were about 15 minutes away, and she knew that I would be tending to go further away more than where we live. Further into this county is the more safest, nicer areas for children to grow up, and then kind of going towards her kind of gets in the bad areas. So she knew that I would, if I was going to go, it would be further. And so she was worried about that and in the dark, but she was like, I'll babysit, just get yourself somewhere. So at the time, I go on a homeless waiting list for single moms with children so that we can get on some kind of list. Okay. And I get us on this list, and there's like this emergency thing, but it's still a wait. So, like, I'm trying, like, I'm filling out all the forms, I'm doing all the things, okay, and I'm using my mom's address to say that we're still staying there until, but we're basically homeless, okay, and I'm doing all these things. I might have even used, I can't remember, but I just know that it was just like a very crazy crazy time, right? And I just had to get somewhere. Like, it literally became it. Oh, I also didn't have credit. I had terrible credit, in fact, because my home was being repossessed, or being foreclosed because of my failed marriage and life. So, like, the home that I bought now, even though I was the stay at home mom, but now I was by myself. I didn't have anybody else, and there was just I certainly couldn't pay, and also because the house was left to deteriorate. It wasn't even worth me trying to save the house. So, like, I had a foreclosure. So, because I would have had, it wasn't just a water bill, there was a well that we couldn't find that was broken. So, there was like no way to get water without thousands of dollars to put into it. There was all these different processes, that would have taken, I had to get out. I had to get us in a home. Like, I was so scared that I was just going to lose my babies. And, like, I was just so scared. I almost don't remember it. I remember it, but I almost like try to forget. And then it just, like, certain things happen. It takes you back to that moment, and you're just like terrified for a second. But I just started going on Zillow. I just remember going on Zillow on my phone while I'm sitting in the van nursing my baby and trying to settle down my other kids, trying to do homework in the back seat, trying to entertain them, whatever it is I got to do. And, I would let them run around outside because we still had the outside yard. There was like cats in the area and their friends and stuff. It's very, very embarrassing, like more shame than anybody could even fathom that I lived, that I felt at that time. But, I was doing everything I possibly knew to do. I was trying to get on lists. I was trying to get help. I was trying to get a court date to get child support, and it was just taking so long. And it was just like, every time I would get two steps, further, I would fall a step back, and I wasn't getting anywhere. And so I'm on Zillow, and I'm just literally applying everywhere with bad credit, a foreclosure. So it looks like I don't pay my bills. I have no other credit. So there's no other, the only revolving is the bad credit. I had a bankruptcy from years before that, which is when the downfall started, and I had all this stuff in my life going on, and I'm trying to apply for a home. Now you have to imagine I have 5 children. Okay. Me plus 5. They can't rent me out a 2-bedroom apartment. Even though it would have only been $600, $700, $800 a month, I could not get a 2-bedroom apartment because there was too many of us. I could only get a 3-bedroom. It had to be at least a 3-bedroom. And because of my daughter's special needs, she can't hear, so she tends to scream a lot. Okay. because she can't hear herself. So, and then the autism and the ODD, the official, the defiance disorder, things like that would kind of like tend to make her. She still has that, but not as bad. Well, I mean, let's just forget about that. But the point is, she screams, not even like not like in a terror kind of way, but she's just loud. She's just she just doesn't know how she sounds to, you know what I mean? So you don't want to get an apartment in like a complex. Although I would have taken one, I just kept like having like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get this apartment, and as soon as she starts running around, I'm gonna get kicked out. Like it's just not plausible. Like we need to get a home, even if it's like a trailer, some kind of rundown house. I can fix it up. I have absolutely no expectations, no like I will take anything, and then maybe once I get in I can go apply for child support, I can go get a job, my mom will come babysit, and everything will fall into place. Well, I go looking, I go on these tours of these homes that are rentable, okay, and like the cheapest one was like $1,200 a month plus everything, the cheapest one in the lowest, crappiest neighborhoods. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? Like, literally, I have nothing. Not to mention, I'm going to need like 5 grand to move in. What am I going to do? So, um, long story short, I just started applying everywhere and just throwing it at the wind, just throwing it at the wind, hoping something sticks. And I knew that I had terrible credit. So, of course, I was declined repeatedly. I would go find a house. I'd be like, oh, well, it's good enough. Fill out the application, decline. Go fill out application, decline. Fill out application, decline. Fill out application, decline. And I'm like, and meanwhile, I'm on the waiting list. I'm at the welfare office. I'm doing everything I possibly can to try to get help in this situation. Finally, I get a call back from a home in a city that is a really pretty city where I went to church at when I was younger, and it almost felt kismet. Like it was like where I would have wanted to grow up when I was younger because I loved church and we lived so far away. And it just felt like that's where I belong, right? That's where God's telling me to go. And it was $1,400 a month plus everything. And I was going to need like $2,800 to move in. And I didn't have it. And I'm freaking out. And I don't know what to do. And um, they call me and she says, we're going to give you a shot. Now, what would you do in that situation? Like, you have to take it. You know that you have no way to pay these people, but you have to do what you have to do because I had to take a chance. Because if I get in, then I can go hustle and work. And I mean, I will just do everything. I will work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and make sure I keep my house. I just have to get in. And they were the only ones willing to give me a shot. I had no other option. So I took the home. I took the home and it was beautiful. Like beautiful. Like I would not have got a house like that. That was all I could get. And they gave me a shot. And so that just makes you want to do you want to show them that you are good enough. You can live a nice life and have a good life in a nice home. You're capable, Ashley. You can do this. So we move in. The kids love the home. Didn't have a yard, didn't really have a neighborhood to play in, but gosh, we had a beautiful home. And my kids were so proud to live in a beautiful home, and I felt so proud to be able to give it to them. But of course, we move in and the pressure's already on. Like I'm on a ticking clock, okay? Now, I ended up borrowing the money from family friends to get in. Okay, because and I mean that was a fluke too, and I will forever be indebted and grateful to them. Even though they were paid back, I still feel like that, if not for that act of kindness, I would have never had the shot. So I get in, and honestly, I remember moving in. I remember the call to my mom the day that I got it all together and we got moved in because I couldn't really apply. It all happened so fast. I couldn't like apply to jobs until I got in. Like we had to get in. It was kind of like a real quick thing. And because they said yes, you don't want to like you don't want to give them a chance to like say maybe not, or somebody else to come up and maybe have a better position in life, and you to be the trash, which is what I was the trash. And I just was so scared. I was just trying to get in, and I got in. And I vividly remember like the day I moved in, calling my mom and being like, okay mom, I got a job or I got an interview. I can't remember where it was. Interview somewhere. I can't remember where it was. I just can't remember. I just remember calling her and telling her I have an interview tomorrow, and it was like a Saturday or something. And I was like, I have an interview tomorrow, da da da. And then the kids are gonna go start their new school on Monday, and she was like, why are you calling? Why are you asking? Why are you telling me? And I kid you not, I remember feeling all of the blood rush through my head, like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, why? Like, I can't help you. I can't babysit. She said, I am getting old, and I can't even breathe. Ashley, I can't stand up. I can't walk from the chair to the bathroom without being out of breath. You want me to watch 5 kids? Are you crazy? And I just said, Mom, what am I gonna do? What what am I going to do? I mean, I can try to get child support and all that, but that's not gonna happen by the time my first rent is due. Like, what am I gonna do? And she was like, I'm sorry. Like, I'll do what I can, but I can't come all the way out. I can't. Well, that was in October of 2019. And it turned out that my mom had terminal lung cancer that we didn't find until July of 2020. And she led the next 2 years fighting, and the last 6 months on hospice. And I cared for her in her home, back in her home. And she passed away July 7th of this year, 2022. But at that time, she wanted to help. She didn't know what was wrong with her, and I took it as very upsetting. I was mad at her. I was mad at her, and I feel bad, but I was mad at her because I just felt like I had no shot now. What the hell was I going to do now? So I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. The next part, speed it up a little bit. I told you guys this is going to be a long story. I'm thinking 30 minutes on each part. Okay. So, and I'll timestamp it, but my mom couldn't help me. Long story short, I went to try to get child support. I started that whole process. It wasn't gonna. It kind of it gave me a little bit in the beginning. Those first few months, I was able to like just make it with child support and just hustling. I got a babysitting job. I got a sixth child, like another child was come and stay with me from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. 7 days a week, and I would watch him. In between that and the child support starting, I was able to like just barely kind of make it. And when I say that, I mean it was pretty. It was we didn't have a Christmas, like we didn't. It was just like just trying to survive, but at least we had a home. And then the end of the year, right around Christmas, into January, I had remembered when I had my home, the first home that I purchased that we were parked at, my neighbor there had started this business and I knew nothing about it. All I knew was that she sold jewelry and my kids called it Paparazzi. And that they would always talk about the Paparazzi boxes that were outside and they were massive, like stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks of Paparazzi boxes. And I didn't know what it was. And I didn't wear jewelry. My ears were not even pierced. I was 32 years old, whatever. My ears were not pierced. I had absolutely no interest in jewelry, but I knew that I watched that mom. I watched her. I watched her do it. I watched her hide in a room and kind of like ignore the world. Like she became like not my friend anymore. Like because she was so busy for a year, and like 6 months into that year, she was buying a Range Rover, and then like a year, like she was moving on up. Okay, from this jewelry. And I was like, well, wait a minute. What is it that she did? And how can I do that? There's got to be a way I can do it. Something told me there was a way I could do it. I don't even know because I did not understand multi level marketing at the time. I mean, I really didn't get it. So, but something must have told me that I could do it. Actually, I think she had mentioned it sometime in my friendship with her. And actually, I think she had said something about I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to go that far, but I think it was actually like a thing like I couldn't like I wouldn't be able to do what she was doing type thing like as if it was possible. But I'm not exactly sure how that conversation went. I'm not trying to say anything bad, but I something told me I could, and I didn't know how to contact her because by this time I had moved on and she had moved away. So I didn't have her direct information at all. And I didn't even know the name of the company. So here I am on Google, like jewelry companies to join. And of course, Paparazzi Accessories is all over the damn place, right? And I was like, that's it. That's the Paparazzi. That's it. How do I join? I literally put in my zip code now where I live now and found a local girl named Amanda, not my best friend Amanda, but an Amanda. And I joined right then and there, signed up, bought the kit. I borrowed the money off of my now CEO, John, who is my best friend and CEO in my new business, my actual company that I built. He now runs that with me and he's CEO with me. But he gave me $99 to start this because he was like desperate for me to get some kind of job. And how we viewed it at the time was a job. Okay. And I was desperate. I was desperate. I had to do something with I had to make this $1,400 plus, right? I had to find a way. So bring us to January 20th, 2020, when I start my journey with Paparazzi Accessories. I loved it. Okay, so I immediately started going live, going hard every single night. January 20th was a Monday. I'll never forget it. I went live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Funny little story though. February 14th happens to be my youngest daughter, Elena's birthday. That's my Valentine's baby. Okay. She had her birthday in 2020. So she was 5 years old, turning 5 years old. Wait. Yes. Turning 5 years old, right? Yes. Yes. Am I right? I was thinking she was 5 years old when we moved, but no, she was still 4. So she turned 5 in 2020. And that day, my baby was 6 months, 7 months old, and he had a fever. Or was sick. I took him to Med Express that day with Elena. It was her birthday. And while every day there's 3 o'clock new releases with Paparazzi, right? Valentine's Day, hot day, right? It's a Friday. I just remember all the details about it. I go to log in to order new releases while I'm sitting at Med Express because I'm so like order new releases. Yes, I was selling that much already to where I was ordering new releases within a month. So I started going hard January 20th, and by February 14th, I'm buying a lot every day because I'm ready to like go in and order and grab all the hot new pieces on Valentine's Day, right? And I can't get in. And I'm like, what? Why can't I why am I not logged in? Something's wrong. And I go check my email. I was canceled for life. Canceled for life because of disparaging remarks I made about the company or somebody in the company. I didn't know anybody in the company except for my old friend, neighbor, and I wasn't talking about anybody. I literally just got started. It came to find out that it was somebody that I was trying to help in my life, my personal life, who was trying to plan an attack to take me down. And I fought with Paparazzi. They canceled me for life, said they will not reverse their decision. They will not, they will not, they will not. And they finally did. They did reverse their decision and they did give me my consultant ID back. And I started going hard again, which is unheard of. And a lot of people say that's not possible, but it's possible. I'm sure I could find the proof somewhere. So they so I argued with them for like a week, 2 weeks. I get my consultant ID back like on like the 20, it was a leap year, on like February 26th, I got my ID back. And on February 28th or 29th on leap year, I became a director, which is the first rank, which is when I got my third and fourth teammate to join my team. So I had 4 teammates in my first month, and most of my first month, I was canceled. But I was good at what I did. I was good at it. I was learning the algorithm. I was literally not sleeping. I was staying up all night watching YouTube videos on how to work the Facebook algorithm to grow my business. At the same time, getting up at 6 with the little boy I was babysitting, and working all night or all day with 5 kids and this new child, and then getting his dad would come pick him up, and then I would go and get ready for I'd take a little nap or whatever, get up, get a shower, go live. I would go live from like 8 at night to midnight. It was 4-hour maxes on lives then. I would stop, take an intermission, go get something to eat, whatever, check whatever I was doing. I would go back on and go live again from like 1 to 3 in the morning. Then I would go to sleep for a couple hours and I'd get up with the little kid again. And I did this 7 days a week, 24/7, like all the time, on work, study, learn algorithm. Like I made this my life because I had no other choice. So yeah, if you were to sit and figure out dollar amounts and hourly rates, I was working 24/7 just about. But it was what I had to do. I had to be home for my children, but I had to pay the bills. At the same time, I was beginning to lose the child support that I thought I was going to have. And if everybody remembers, let's all say in unison, March, April 2020, COVID. So COVID now hits the world. It hits my life, my family, not my home per se, as far as the sickness. But now we have COVID to deal with, the pandemic to deal with. My child support completely ceased because there was no legal need for it. But also, along with that came the rent. You could not be evicted. There was an eviction hold because of the pandemic. So that gave me a little breather to build my business. And that, to this day, is what saved me, because I was able to put in everything that I brought in. I was able to invest to grow my team, to grow my inventory, to grow everything that I had. Now, I was still paying what I could, and paying paying as much as I could and paying all the other bills and everything else. But I wasn't as stressed about making sure I was repeatedly buying more to get that rank up. So then I was able to buy my way to what is known as Life of the Party Silver by the end of June. So I mean, I was basically in for 5 months because 1 month I was canceled. So in 5 months, I got Life of the Party Silver, which was I really wanted to get gold, but it just wasn't going to happen. Life of the Party Silver was 10,000 PV, which means I purchased 5,000 pieces of jewelry in 5 months. So I purchased 1,000 pieces a month. Now, the reason why I was able to buy 1,000 pieces a month, though, was because I was selling 990 of those pieces every month. So I was buying them and selling them. I was going live every night. I didn't stockpile a jewelry room like people say. I was hard working live every night. I did not stop until it was sold. Like I would do a live show, have 100 viewers, and at the end be like, okay, well, these are the last 5 pieces. Who wants to buy them? Because I just would not just be okay. We didn't sell out. Like we would sell out. Okay, guys, there's 5 of these oil spill pieces left. Who's gonna buy them? Like I did not take no for an answer. So I had all this money rolling in and going right back out, but I didn't have the pressure. And now there was a while there that people didn't have money because they too lost their jobs. And so I came up with this new, like, I would just hold it for you until you got figured out with the pandemic because people wanted to shop, but I wasn't in a hurry. So I held a bunch of people's orders. I became the one that worked with everybody. I still am the one that works with everybody in my new business. And anyways, we grew to crazy proportions. Okay, by May, I had double ranked, so I was a director in February. That May of 2020, I became a premier director and then an executive director in the same month. And my team had grown from the 4 that I had going into March to maybe 10 to 15. I think around then I had about 10 to 15 in that month of May. And then there were many times that I was suspended after that. I had so many. So now that I'm getting better, I'm getting all this attention now. People are noticing me. Higher ups are noticing me. The people are noticing me. They want to join me. Like everybody now is like wanting to join me. I'm going live and literally live selling, and people are joining me as I'm live selling. Okay. And it just became like one of the most fun times of my life, and I didn't understand what I was doing. I did not understand the whole concept, and I'll get into that, but I did not quite understand it. I just thought I'm making money. I'm doing my job, which is exactly what I have to do. We have to keep ourselves in a home, right? Well, there were a couple times like that July I got suspended because I was turned in for um for playing with balls too vulgar. So I developed a game. It was never done before me, before my team, and I it was called Blingo. When we would get 25 numbers, ping pong balls that were numbered, and play bingo. And we called it Blingo. And all my team members who joined me, I would buy them balls, and my best friend Amanda would make them, and it became our thing, our shtick, and it was fun. Anyways, we would play with my balls, and I would say, "Let's play with balls. Let's get 2 balls out at a time because life is always better when you have 2 balls," and things like that. Well, of course, wah wah wah, suspended. You have to go delete all your lives where you talk about balls because that's vulgar. Then I was suspended again, similarly for Family Feud After Dark. You were not allowed to play that. That was too, or it was 18 plus or After Dark or something like that. That was too vulgar. So literally, I had to literally like watch every time I did a live show. I couldn't accidentally swear. I had to make sure all the rules were followed to a T because now I'm now building this commission check. I'm now ranking up, building this check. So now I'm making 4 figures, thousands a month. That is a team commission. So now I now depend on paparazzi. Okay, now I can't make them mad. I can't break the rules. I can't think for myself now because if I were to do anything, they can cancel me for saying a swear word or being vulgar. They can cancel me, and I will lose all that money I worked for. The jewelry sales are now becoming just they're great. It's a lot of money coming in. That's 10 grand a month or whatever coming in, but you have to keep buying it to come back in. You can't keep selling at that 10,000 if you're not buying the new releases every single day to get that new pieces in to have something to sell. So yeah, you see 10, 15, $20,000 on your square for the last 30 days. But with people, that's all fine and dandy, but you literally have to spend two, 300 or more Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to keep up with those invoices, to keep all the new pieces coming, to keep the people buying. If you were to just not buy 1 month, the next month you don't have all that money coming in. It doesn't work that way. You have to keep refilling. And now we're in a pandemic, so it's taking 6 weeks for our orders to get in. So I'm now having to buy 6 weeks in advance of what I'm going to show on live shows. So now by the time the boxes come in, we don't even know what it is, which was fun, and our customers loved it. But you had to keep it going. If I missed new releases 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, I have to go and buy stuff that had been sitting there just so to show it got there. There were many times that we would run out and I'd be worried, like, John, what am I going to do? I'm not going to have any inventory to show that week. I'm going to have to dig through stuff and find Hostess Rewards, which are the free pieces you get. So I was bringing in a lot of money. But at this point, for me to maintain my rank, I had to spend just about, after shipping and square fees and giveaways to grow and all that, I was pretty much breaking even. I had $10,000, $15,000 a month coming in, and I was putting out $10,000, $15,000 a month. Give or take. At that point, that's when you begin to survive on your commission. Now you're doing a weekly live to get people to join your team, because you know that the more people that join you and the more they buy, the more you don't have to worry. So now you can reinvest everything you sell. Reinvest, 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 and then that commission check comes on the 20th. You pay all your bills and you're good, right? And that's how these higher ups are surviving. And they can tell you till they're blue in the face that they are surviving on sales, and they're not. I'm not being a hater. I'm not sitting here with, hey guys, picture in picture, watch this video of this paparazzi consultant. Let's make fun of her. Let's totally debunk everything that she's doing. Let's just completely belittle her and make her into nothing. No, you know what? I don't do that. And you know what? I go and buy full price paparazzi off of consultants because I want to support them. You know why? Because that was me. I had to put food on the table for 5 kids by myself. I had to keep myself from being homeless. I had to on somebody, but I'm also going to tell you that that is what people are doing. If they are elite or above, they're not worried about their sales. They're buying enough to either maintain active status or maintain their life of the party status. And these are facts. These are facts. I truly do not think that there is any one seller, even if they're selling everything, because I was too. The ones that sell really well are buying really well. You don't see anybody with all these viewers and all these sales and all these accolades and everything and have a low life of the party. You don't really see that, except for one I will call EC. She's the only one that I believe may have a low life of the party rank, but she does a lot. And you know why? That's smart. That shows that she's not reinvesting everything. And she's probably not making a ton on the sales, but she's also a millionaire off of her team. So, I will give her that she is smart in that area. I'm not going to be here to hate on anybody. I'm going to be truthful, and my truth and my facts are nobody's living off of sales. Nobody. You either are lower level and you're buying more than you're selling, you're spending more than you're making because you believe you're investing, right? Or you are building a team and starting to see that little bit of money, and that is kind of allowing you mentally to spend all your money that you're making off the sales because you know that commission check where that even if it's $100, like that $100, that's your profit. You're buying to keep everything going up, but that profit, that's what you're working for. Okay. Or you've been here a while, you have a big team, you have a large check every month, and that's entirely where your income's coming from. Your sales are going into buying more, and you're living off of your income. There's no other way, because if you're selling a lot, you have to be buying a lot. And if you're not selling a lot, then you're not making anything. It's simple facts, physics, whatever you want to call it. There's no other way. You can't be making a ton of money on sales and not buying anything. It does. You have to buy it to sell it. So you have to, if you're making a lot of money in paparazzi, you have to be buying a lot or living off of other people buying a lot. And the only reason why that's a problem, that's not even really a problem. If it was a legitimate business that operated others to do the business as well. Okay, I get that. I get the model clearly. Okay, but the problem is these people that are buying in are doing so at a debt rate. Okay, they are purchasing way more than they're selling, like I just explained. And if they're selling a lot, they have to be buying a lot. They have to be, or else they have to be building a team. And then the people under them have to either be buying a lot to sell a lot or not selling enough. So there's never you can find a happy medium where you're buying, the Power 15, where you're buying 20 pieces a month and selling, 15 of them, and building a little bit of an inventory, and you have this little tiny profit margin. But you would have to be so specific on how much, you can't do the whole fear of missing out. It's 3 o'clock every day. You got to jump in and grab them new releases. And that's where paparazzi is making their mistakes. That's where they are, in my opinion, scammy and schemy, because they're not just giving you a website that you can freely shop at any time and you have a chance to sit and do profit and loss reports, figure out how much money you have weekly to reinvest, taking that money, reinvesting it, and properly doing it. I'm sure there are people in the company that do take the time to do that. But one, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of business sense and skill that most do not have. But then also, you're I can't remember. I lost the train of thought. So, but also they don't give you that opportunity because they're dropping new releases Monday through Friday at 3 o'clock Eastern every day. So you are prone to just jumping in and grabbing and going. You don't have time to think about what you have to invest. Even if you take the time to figure out before the week starts, I have $200 of investable money. Okay, so then you set yourself a budget each day. But you know as well as I know, when you jump in on Monday and they drop an oil spill necklace, with a oil spill butterfly, there's literally no way you're going to not buy that. Even if you're only given a $50 to spend, you will buy 20 of them because you know you'll be able to sell 20 of them, right? Now you're already over the 50, okay, that you gave yourself for the week. And now let's say Tuesday drops a multicolor heart necklace or earrings that match the necklace from yesterday. And you know that if you make that a set, you'll double your money. You're going to buy it. And now you're in too deep. And that will just repeat itself over and over and over again. That's just the reality of paparazzi. Yes, there are a lot of MLMs that operate in such ways, but the worst part, the slimiest part about paparazzi is that they don't give you the time to decide what you can logically put into your business. You don't have to figure out how much you can put in. They just want you to keep buying, keep buying, keep buying. You always want to have that new hot stuff, and they'll purposely release a necklace one day that matches earrings another day, or this or that. They purposely will do that. Although recently I've noticed they kind of put sets together more. They used to not do that, but even still, you will see pieces that will match each other over time, which then causes you to need to purchase every multiple days in the month. And each time you're purchasing, you're spending $5.99 to ship unless you spend over $100. You're also being charged tax on all those pieces. So the $2.75 was always $3.10 for me. And in most cases, new customers would come and say, "Oh, do you charge tax?" "Oh, okay, if you do, I'm out." And they would literally leave you and not buy. So you are more apt to do no tax. The 13th one is free shipping over $25. When you start doing those kind of incentives, that literally eats up your profit. So now if you buy 100 pieces and you sell 75 of them, and then you do all these giveaways and stuff, you end up being in debt for selling 75 because 25 of them you bought and didn't sell. So there's $75 that you spent that you didn't make. And then the money that you did make, you take out all your costs and everything that you spent. It ends up being very, very close to breaking even. If there is a little bit of a profit, you've worked a lot of hours in order to get that profit. So I actually did a short here on YouTube and included them in my paparazzi story, I believe, on one of my paparazzi videos. But I'm going to go ahead and put those clips here and edit this video so that they come on after I'm done speaking right now, so that you can see those videos. And if it doesn't work, then you know that I'm just not good at this yet. But I will somehow put those those screenshots here to show you an average of what I did in January, February 2021. And that was when I was still only an executive director with like 40 people on. Um, it was kind of like you sold thousands of pieces, but you purchased thousands of pieces. You got all these free pieces, but then you gave away all these free pieces to grow your brand. But so you kind of end up breaking even, or you work a lot of hours to make a very small profit, and your hourly rate ends up being like $4. Or okay, but then after all that, it's like, okay, but you were an executive director with all these team members, and you made $2,000 a month in that. So like that's really what you're working for. The problem is that you're working for, that you get, is the debt of the ones that trusted you, that are now under you. So they believe that they're going to make money because you look like you're making money. And now they buy in, and they buy all this jewelry every single day, Monday through Friday, because they think that you're making money, which you are. You are, but your money is pretty much coming from them not making money. You see what I'm saying? Then you start realizing, okay, wait a minute. To keep myself in line here, integrity wise, I can't keep doing this. I'm literally encouraging these people to keep buying when I know they're not able to sell. And even if they are able to sell, and my uplines tell me, keep telling them to buy, keep telling them to buy, it'll turn around, it'll pick up. It's just a slow month and all this crazy stuff. Like, that's terrible. It was never going to pick up for a lot of these people. A lot of these people just do not have the skills it takes to sell. And they should not be encouraged to buy. They should not ever be encouraged to keep buying. If you want to be part of an MLM and be part of a community, there are good ones that exist. I'm not going, I will tell you that whole thing. But if you just wanted to hear about the paparazzi, ultimately it's not worth it. But it took me all that time of realizing that, and I ended up double promoting to a premier producer in early 2020 or early 2021, and like March, April 2021, I had like the biggest checks of my life, and things were like really getting good. And then the summer of 2021 happened, so they had their convention. And that's when the whole downfall of paparazzi happened. I'm going to timestamp all this so that you don't have to watch the whole 2-hour video of me doing all this. um, Actually, maybe I should break this up. Maybe I should break this up. All right, I'm going to close this up. I'm going to talk to you guys about the downfall of paparazzi, what led me out, and how I ended up getting to where I am today. So check out the next video, because I'm going to make sure I edit this one and get this one loaded up. But I want you guys to know the whole full story. So make sure you check back on this channel. Make sure you like this video and subscribe, and always be notified. Click the little bell and be notified for my new video, because I'm going to post it. It's going to be this exact me, but I'm going to post it again shortly after this one. Okay, maybe the next day. All right, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, stay positive, and keep on changing this crazy world one booyah at a time. Booyah.